Hi, this is the summary of chapters 27 to 34. Um, I really like the practical advice that she gives in these chapters. In chapter 27, she says that, we need to appreciate genuinely and deeply what our husbands are. And to support and encourage and draw out of him those qualities that you originally saw and admired. And I think I often forget to do that. Because I think, like once you get in the habit, well, I mean, you're married, right? And I mean, at least personally, Emerson, he just jokes a lot and was just very sarcastic. And that's what like really attracted me to him. Um, but not when the joke is at my expense. So, I mean, that's just, anyway, my marriage and stuff. But um, he's very funny. So, in page 91, she says, it is reasonable to, I'm sorry, it is reasonable to conclude that the personality given is the one that best complements his own, the one that meets his needs in ways he could not himself have foreseen or chosen. So if you're a Christian who have prayed for years to be led to the right partner, you need to believe that the one you marry is indeed God's choice for you. Because sometimes, like you get to question, like maybe I made a mistake and I shouldn't have married this person, especially when there are tensions. Like chapter 28 says that, there's bills to be paid, decisions to be made, work to be done, and so marriage is not going to be static, but it's a dynamic relationship, and your husband needs you to be different from him, to be what you are alone, to be what he can never be and what he needs and wants, right? So that you can complement him. They need to be husband and wife, not just buddies. That is not to say that you cannot be best friends, but not necessarily buddies. Chapter 29 talks about how marriage is a union, not a competition, and how she talks about, her relationship with Jim, and how they both were studying Spanish and how they, in a way, were competing, and that she actually enjoyed that she was better at Spanish than him, but that was just wrong. So, page 30, chapter 30, how marriage is a mirror. And this is so funny. And this reminded me of something that one of the girls mentioned the other day when we met, right? That she knows that she struggles with her patience, and so she can practice to be patient now because she knows that she will need it when when she marries. So it says, a college roommate may have provided a little practice, but precious little housekeeping and probably no cooking or money managing were included. So marriage, these are hard realities, and if marriage is the first chance you have to face up to them, you may make the mistake of blaming it on marriage itself or on your spouse. Difficulties that are simply a part of adult life. Like, I didn't know how to cook when I married, and Emerson had to eat like burned rice for like 3 times in a row. I didn't even know how to make pancakes, which is sad. So by golly, I'm gonna prepare Libby to cook a meal, and not just to cook, but to plan a menu, right? To find ways that, like prepare the whole menu, plan for the whole week or whatever it is. Just things that that nobody prepared me for. Anyways, chapter 31. She talks about marriage being a vocation to which you are called. And obviously there will be responsibilities and limitations and privileges and joys. This is something so clear It says, there may be, page 103, there may be a few exceptional women who successfully combine career and marriage, but to give full attention to both at the same time is an impossibility. I think this is just her sweet way to say it's impossible. I mean, there may be a few exceptional women who can do it, but to give full attention to both is impossible. So, I mean, really, if a woman wants her career to have priority, she will do better to stay single for the simple scriptural reason that she was made to adapt to a man. She was made for him if she has a man. And I think a lot of women do not like to hear that, but that's just the way it is. Scripturally, man is responsible for his family. Women who have no career, as such, are certainly called to a variety of tasks besides marriage. Parenthood is a task, and I would argue, like we were talking to the girls, and we didn't go into detail, but there's nothing wrong with pursuing an education or a college degree or whatever it is that they would like to do. I'm encouraging Elizabeth to go to college if that's what she wants to do. Just to know that whatever it is that she chooses to do, she's married, and especially if she has children, her priority is her husband and her children. So, too often the career eclipses the vocation of marriage, so that a couple forgets that they have been called to each other and thinks only of the family. Every task requires faith. God orders all things and directs your life. That is not a selfish one lived. Chapter 32. She's talking about what makes a marriage work. And she talks about the kind of marriages that were arranged, or the way it happened when she was living with the people in Ecuador. And there's something, I mean, I know that she's just narrating things. I just do not necessarily agree. I mean, it may have worked. I don't think it was biblical, though. They had different ways. Like they had multiple ways. But still, I mean, they were providing, the husbands were providing for all the different ways. And chapter 33, acceptance of divine order. There's an established order that was established in creation, in the creation of the world, and she talks about, I think it's very repetitive, like throughout the whole book. It's obvious that she talks about role distinction. The notion of hierarchy comes from the Bible. The word superior and inferior refer originally to position, not to intrinsic worth, which is the whole wrong approach, or I don't want to say the lie of feminism, but like feminism is trying to give women, or fighting for women's equality, right? For women equality, and like we're equal already. What they not necessarily either don't know or don't like is that the roles are different. So we're equal. I'm not fighting for equality because I already know that I'm equal to men in worth and in guilt too before the Lord. And I think she just talks about all that throughout the book. And then chapter 34, it just talks about how some churches and colleges, they are being asked to relax, right? The rules a little bit more, so to make them more relevant or more realistic or more acceptable to today's students. But lines must be drawn. Because the universe is run by laws which can be relied on. The great question for us women is, where have the lines been drawn? Is a woman required to be subject to her husband? May a woman be ordained to the ministry of the church? Is she subordinate to men in all areas of life? And then she's just asking, right? So no, we're not submit to all men, but to our own husbands, right? The scripture says. So men and women are equal, we may say, in having been created by God. Both male and female are created in his image. They bear the divine stamp. They are equally called to obedience and responsibility, but there are differences in their responsibilities. Both Adam and Eve sinned and are equally guilty. Oh, this is exactly what I just said, because it was here in this chapter. Therefore, both are equally the objects of God's grace. Marriage is not a political arena, because the statement, all men are created equal, is a political one. But marriage is one place where it doesn't belong at all. Marriage is the union of two opposites. So that's it. That's basically everything until chapter 34. Thank you. Bye.